What is realism? Geek out with me. Have you ever been at a party and you hear someone say, "Oh, I'm a total realist"? Oh, come on, like you've never heard someone say that? Clearly I go to different parties. Realism is one of the three major schools of thought in international relations, which in normal speak means it's one of the ways people look at the world. There are a few things that define a realist. First, they believe there's a kind of anarchy or lawlessness in the international system, and that's because they view the world as having no central governing system or enforceable international laws. So because of that, they believe that states only care about their own survival, and so they'll pursue their own national interests to increase their own power. They believe that doing things like war, military attacks, creating alliances, or imposing sanctions, for example, end up decreasing the chances of war. So when former US National Security Advisor John Bolton argued that the US should bomb Iran in order to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon, that was a realist argument. He was like queen of the realists. Realists also believe that nation states are really the only powerful players in this world, meaning they don't view organizations like the United Nations as having much power. Instead, they view power as something defined by the strength of a state's economy, its military resources, and the size of its population and land. So now that I've rattled your geeky ears off, how does this actually apply to the real world, and why does it matter? Well, if you're a realist and you view the world this way, then you're gonna assume that others also think the same way. And that states that states and their leaders only want to seek power for themselves. And that perspective makes states kind of suspicious, or they start to fear each other, so they'll act in ways to ensure their own survival. Let's look at the creation of NATO, for example. We talk about NATO in another video, but quickly, NATO was created out of realist goals. It was established in 1949 as a defense alliance between the United States, Canada, and Western Europe to maximize relative power in order to prevent war with the Soviet Union. Another example is when you see an arms race or heavy military spending. The US, for example, spends over half of its budget on national defense. In fact, we spent over $800 billion in 2021 just on our defense. And that's because the US believes that by increasing its military resources, it makes our state more powerful, secure, and also helps prevent war. It's a realist view. So what do you think? Are you a realist? There are different perspectives in international relations, and realism is just one of them. Check out our other videos on liberalism and constructivism and see which one fits best with your own line of thinking. And if you think it might be a mix, the good news is that's totally normal. Either way, let us know where you fall in the comments below because I want to know. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and thanks for geeking out with me.